So, I have nearly forgotten about recording a video, and I've also realized that I haven't recorded a video for TikTok yet. Follow me on TikTok. Link is actually not down in the description, but it should be from now on. Hopefully. We will see. Well, the last time we have stopped with Joyful, the book by Ingrid fetell. Pretty interesting read, not as good and or necessary as I thought it would be, but yeah, I just nearly thought that I've already finished. So did we stop with key idea number 2? No, we did not. We're gonna go ahead with key idea number 3. You can find freedom in a garden as long as you don't design it too strictly. No doubt you will remember that feeling you had as a child. You decided to pack a little bag and head off into the woods or along a path. What pushed you on was the feeling of freedom and the desire for the open road. Such feelings are not a thing of the past. You can actually create that freedom within your own home. It just takes a bit of design and know-how. A good place to start is the garden. Just consider what the Dutch garden designer Piet Oudolf has created in Hummelo, close to the German border. Lee visited him in his garden there and was immediately hit by a strong sense of freedom. It was a wild garden where tall blues, salvia, and hollyhocks were placed amid grass thickets. The grasses themselves were of various strains, lengths, and colors. No closely trimmed lawn here. A figure-8 path gave the profusion of grasses and flowers a little structure, but didn't stop butterflies from fluttering across it. He was deeply affected. The freedom in the garden design prompted a feeling of freedom in her. She had a sudden desire to take the day off and laze in a sheltered corner of this magical realm with a picnic beside her. The trick to getting a garden to have this effect on visitors is to design it relatively loosely. Odolf was certainly of that school of thought. He had learned about gardening in the English tradition, but soon found it too constraining. The rules were just too restrictive. They dictate when and where to plant things, how flower beds should be prepared, and even which colors to pair. Udolf embraced freedom in his garden. Jettison tradition. Instead of dividing areas of the garden with stiff parent shrubs, he opted for grasses. Grasses are great because they grow into large, bushy shapes, but they are much wilder than shrubs. Consequently, flowers can grow among them, while the wind can also blow the grasses this way and that. The use of grasses gave a much more dynamic and lively feel to this garden. Quite unlike static and formal English gardens, Udolf even applied the same principle to other plants. Each would be allowed its freedom and none would be compelled to sit rigid in a pruned form. Well, I do want to point out, I don't necessarily think that English gardens are too strict, but I would rather say that the French garden is extremely fucking strict, but I might have a distorted vision and or thought of the English garden. So we're gonna look it up. No. Well, yeah, it is strict and it has a form. Maybe more than it kind of looks like. Well, yeah. But I think it is nothing compared to the French one. Even though, I mean, if you look at Versailles, and so on and so forth, it just really is beautiful. But I wouldn't think that I would have such a thing at my house, such a garden. First of all, just keeping it that way, it costs a ton of money and a ton of effort and a ton of quite everything. And on the other hand, when you, I don't know, I mean, one really also has to be concerned to just not destroy the garden, if it's so costly and, involves such a lot of work. Anyway, do I want to look up Odolf's garden? Nah. I am rather willing to go through key idea number 4. Feng Shui is about creating a harmonious space which can increase joy and happiness. Feng Shui gets a bad rap these days. Perhaps you already feel a tide of skepticism rising at the very mention of the term, but it needn't be like that. In essence, it is just a Chinese philosophy that guides people on how best to arrange rooms in order to, for example, get sound asleep. It is actually a pretty practical approach to creating a harmonious space. Putting Feng Shui into action is simple. You have to focus your attention on each part of the home and consider how the overall room design might be made more harmonious. There is no magic to it. The underlying principle in Feng Shui is that a form of energy called qi runs through all matter. Consequently, should the flow of qi through a space be interrupted, the room's harmony will be disturbed due to the pooling of stagnating energy. The classic example of bad Feng Shui is to place large or tall items of furniture right in the middle of a room. Also looks shit, by the way. You might think it difficult to assess the finer flows of energy in a room, but it is actually not. Just ask yourself, how would a small pet move through a room if released here? Would it be free to move and explore the space and all its objects easily, or would it get stuck circling around awkward placed furniture and piles of paper? If the latter is the case, then the room likely has bad Feng Shui. There is every reason to embrace Feng Shui since it can help increase joy and happiness. And it brings right by your front door. The entryway to any home should be free of clutter if it is to be welcoming. If you can barely open the door because of shoes, coat rags, boxes, or pieces of furniture, you will feel slowed down even as you exit. If you leave burdened by the thought of obstacles, then you will remain plagued by that for the rest of the day too. You may even find yourself becoming increasingly irritable because of it, which is, by the way, something that happened to me and something that I kind of was able to solve. I think it really depends on structuring your room in the most effective and efficient way you possibly can. You know yourself, I know myself, and you know yourself, and therefore know that when the day is long, you tend to, you tend to throw your jacket over your chair, but it really is pissing you off in the end because it looks cluttered and it doesn't look very nice and neat and tidied up. So you have to get up and have to get the energy to open your closets and put it in there. So what about having a rack where you can put your coat on or your jacket or whatnot? Probably looks a bit more tidied up. Maybe you even just put this thing into a different room so that you're not having it in your living room or your sleep room. Bedroom, sleep room, bedroom, yeah. Yes. The same applies when you arrive home. If you return to an open and welcoming space, this will lead to the generation of joy. Opening a door to a pile of junk is not going to create the same effect. Something that I also thought about, and something that every psychiatrist and psychotherapist is gonna tell you, that makes sense to tidy up your room and or live in a way that makes you feel great. And if your room, a cluttered room, is something that pisses you off, is something that you dislike, well, guess what? Maybe you have to do something about that. Maybe that makes sense. Couples should pay special attention to the placement of their bed in the bedroom. It should allow two people easy access to it, thus neither side should be up against the wall. An asymmetrically placed bed is a sign of an asymmetrical relationship. If you adopt a more egalitarian approach in the placement of your bed, the increased harmony that generally results will also improve your domestic life. Well, I don't know how much this really is the case, but I don't know, I do indeed like it when there is at least one wall on one side of my bed. Two walls is not going to be possible quite, but I like when there's at least one. I don't know really why. In terms of movement of the bed, this kind of creates even a bit, I don't know if it is optimal, to just have a wall next to your bed and, actually 2 walls, one on the left or right side and one on the front end or back or rear of the bed. In terms of movement and therefore noise and whatnot, it's probably going to be more noise the more walls your bed is touching quite. But yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. I always thought that Feng Shui is just some festival kind of thingy thing, but apparently it is not. Feng Shui for the bedroom. Bed in a command position, which is like really in the middle. Headboard, so you apparently need a headboard. 2 side tables. Not too many houseplants, but there is 1 and 2. And no TV, no heavy paintings, no sharp corners. The question is why? Learn all about your Feng Shui area for your home or office. Career, water, helpful people, creativity. What is that? Ruhm und Zukunft, which is your future and I knew the word actually, like the word of mouth that gets spread about you, whether it's something good, something bad. And there you have fire as an element, heart, face, and eyes as body things, and S for south, I guess, and some other symbol that I really don't know how to interpret. Then when you have love and partnership, you're gonna have earth or soil quite as an element, your tummy and your mouth as a body part, and southwest. Kids and creativity, you're gonna have metal, lung, nose, and mouth, as well as the west. Then northwest is gonna be helpful friends as well, metal apparently. What is KL? Well, I don't know. There you have part of your intestines, I guess, and your head. Then on the north side, you're gonna have, I actually don't want to read the whole thing. I don't necessarily think it is important. There is a little overview. Wood, creativity and growth. Fire, leadership and boldness. Earth, strength and stability. Metal, focus and order. Water, emotion and inspiration. That is amazing. I really don't know how to use it, but it is there when you have it. And apparently you should also not have a window above your bed, above the head of your bed, and you also shouldn't have something beneath your bed, like some drawers, so that it is optimal apparently. Then you should also not have your door in the corner. There's actually ways in which you can... I don't know if this is a real thing. I don't think so. Could you please not be as loud? Thank you. Well, yeah, quite indeed. I mean, I thought that it is a bit crazy, but there is this north to south diagram of things, and you can also apply that to your whole flat. So it makes sense, apparently, to have your bathroom in the north, living room in the south, your bedroom in the southwest, another bedroom in the south northwest. Then you're gonna have it kind of, I don't know if it makes any sense, to be honest. I think it is rather random. Well, it kind of, now I get it. So when you have partnership, kids, friends, career, knowledge, family, wealth, and the other one that I just don't know, if you think about it, when you have partnership in the southwest, then having your bedroom there with your partner makes sense. If kids is in the west, well, then you're gonna have a room for the kids in the west. If friends is gonna be in the northwest, then you're gonna have like a guest room there. Korea is in the north. There you're gonna have your working room thingy thing, knowledge. Yeah, I think you get my point. And with that being said, I think that I'm gonna end the episode, and I'll see you soon, hopefully.